And suddenly I started looking around here, and I checked my continuity and everything was showing good, and I saw that my wire had some breaks in the insulation, and I started to just tug a little, just gently pull, and it came right out. So again, someone had made a repair. As I'm looking at this now, someone had made a repair. It looks like what they made is a new pin, because this pin looks different unless they just sanded it really good. There's a bunch of glue in here, but it doesn't appear that it was ever soldered. So I guess they just stuck it up in the hole and it made contact enough to last for a while. So what I did is I gently pulled on this plug, or pin I should say, and it came right out. Then I took my tiny drill bit that I had used in the chassis or the shell, and I tried to drill some of this glue out of here. And still gonna have to work at getting some of that gunk out of there, it looks like. Here's a side note. It's been a while since I mentioned this, but if you ever go to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned, which most people have that as an option, usually it's paid for very cheap, they use these tools on your teeth, and I've just started asking them, hey, do you have any old tools that you're going to throw out? I think they're made of titanium, and so the tips are really strong. It doesn't mean you can't break them, because I have, but yeah, they'll just, at least around here, they'll just give them to you, because at some point they're no longer fit for human use, and so you're just going to throw them out anyhow. So anyhow, I've gotten a few different ones, but all that to say, so I wanted to check that this hole is clear and that this hole is clear, and I can actually see the probe, coming up through there. Now this is really hard to get the wire thin enough to go up and around that 90, and that's why I thought, you know what, I'm gonna videotape this, because probably there are others of you out there that have struggled this kind of a repair, and this is a great opportunity for those of you that have successfully done this kind of repair to share your wisdom with the rest of us, because I'm scratching my head on how to get the wire to go around that corner. One of the challenges is my lead wire, I really don't have much extra length. There might be a little bit I could get out of this if I pulled on it, but one idea I had was to strip the insulation back, and then try to feed the wires up, because what I want to do is I want to get the wires fed up through here, and then on this side of things, I want to solder them in a small fashion. It's got to be a real tight solder joint around this pin, and then I want to push the pin back in there. I've got a little bit of extra play right now, and then I probably would use JB Weld. I could maybe get away with super glue as well, but probably would go with JB Weld again, real small amount, and just hope that it lasts. So that is the reason for this video, because I thought, well, there might be some others that have some experience with this. So those others of you that are out there, please comment and share the wealth, and if I fail at this, then maybe I will need you to come to my aid as well. But like I said, I'm going to try to pull the insulation back just a little bit more than it is, and then next I'm going to twist these wires really tightly. The idea being that I'm making the diameter smaller, and then also keeping them from fraying. Okay, like that. Now comes the tricky part. Somehow I'm going to have to get this to go around the 90-degree corner. I'm going to put a tiny bit of a bend on that. It can't be much or else it won't go up through the hole. So I'm going to put a tiny bend on there, and we'll see if I can get it started. And if I can get it started coming out the hole, then maybe if I push on it, it'll come out. Since I already had mentioned a little bit about the two-step reverse unit, I decided to cut out some additional footage that I had on the repair I did, but I'm going to just kind of do a quick summary of that. The person I bought it from claimed that the two-step reverse unit was in operation. However, it did not once I had it at home and put some power to it. I discovered that a repair that had been done was not working, and there was no continuity to the solenoid in the reverse unit. And I discovered that the very, very minute wire that had been supposedly soldered didn't have the actual enamel coating scraped off. So the solder actually it held it there, but there was no continuity, so no power. So as I had unboxed the engine and tried to start putting some things together, whatever little continuity there had been was completely gone, so the motor didn't run at all. So I fixed the bad solder joint, and then I couldn't get the engine to run. And as I pursued continuity once again, I discovered that there was an issue with the plug. So I started to gently move the wires a little bit, and the green wire just came out completely. Apparently someone had decided that the way to fix a plug was to super glue or somehow glue the wire into the hole. Yeah, not a very solid repair. So what I spent the next many hours trying to do was feed a very small wire through a 90-degree turn inside that plug. And after several attempts using smaller and smaller wire, I was successful at getting a pull wire through, a snake tape, if you will. And then I had issues getting the connect wire through, even with the smallest amount of solder connecting the two, because the hole was so small. In the end, I ended up needing to drill out the plug a little bit. There was a little bit of broken plastic in there, and I did finally decide that, yeah, there was a risk of damaging the plug, but I could not successfully feed wires through and get them reconnected once I had them fed partway through. So this required, like I said, drilling out the plug a little bit, enlarging the inside 90-degree angle so it was more like a 45, so I'd get wire fed through there. I reattached the pin, push that back in place, and then I use a little bit of super JB Weld to kind of repackage things in there so that will never come loose again. And thus far, it seems to have held very well. The unfortunate thing is the other side finally came loose, so I've had to repair that temporarily, and we'll see if the temporary fix holds or if I'll have to do what I did to the first side as well. But these plugs can be repaired, but again, it takes a lot of patience and some really small drill bits if you've got them to try to get wires pulled through. I would also say if any of you have done repairs on these plugs and have another method that you've found successful, I would be very interested in hearing it. Please leave those in the comments. I know I'm not the only one that has run into the issue with these plugs. As a kid, I had one of these engines with plugs that I still have it, but that plug's long gone now because it finally wore out. So they are a problem, and I'd love to hear how some of you have found solutions to fixing them. I'm sure a lot of you have also just abandoned them completely and gone to a direct or hardwire, which that works too. And just like that. Now, I'm going to have to mix up some JB Weld and put it in between these two to seal, because it looks like a little bit of plastic broke away there. And that'll also lock this one in by doing that. And there you go. Just like that. Hardly any time at all. Quality time with American Flyer right there.